Hello and welcome back to Nerd Talk. In this episode, we're going to be doing a first ever NerdOff, which is pretty cool. It's basically a debate between all three of the hosts, and yeah, today's topic is the best Marvel character. And today I'm joined by Eli, say hi,
Hello, hello.
and Robert.
What's up?
So let's get started. The most powerful MCU character.
Didn't you say
Eli,
the
take it
best,
away.
not the most powerful? But
Okay,
it,
so-
it doesn't matter.
I think I'm gonna go the basic route, and I would choose Thor as the strongest. In pre-Endgame, I would say he was pretty mediocre, avoiding the fact that he's an actual god. But with him being able to wield Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, I think that just adds to his strength. And before he even had Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, when he only had Stormbreaker, he was able to almost nearly cut off Thanos' arm during the last scene of Infinity War. And I think with also another fact, he was able to withhold the sheer power of a sun to be able to create even Stormbreaker. So I think all of that combined would lead to him being the strongest MCU character.
I don't disagree with that. He is an actual god, which is pretty insane. But overall, I think that he's an insanely smart and insanely Avenger and just an MCU character in it overall. But that doesn't change my opinion, and I think that even before WandaVision, I thought that Scarlet Witch had some of the most potential in the MCU to be the most powerful. And I know our topic is the most powerful, but I'd say that I think that the most powerful MCU character could be WandaVision. Not WandaVision. Could be Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
See, Wanda, she's just insane. And we saw her almost be able to take down Thanos single-handedly after Vision was stripped of his stone. And she went absolutely Goku insane Super Saiyan mode on Thanos, and I don't think that she would have lost that if she had more control over her powers. And in WandaVision, my theory's just been backed up by the fact that she created an entire world to herself, a little bubble where Vision's still alive. And I think that the fact that she doesn't know how to control her powers and can still somehow make these insane occurrences off just purely out of uncontrollable chaos magic is just insane. And as we've seen in episode 8, she doesn't know how to use her powers much, as you can see by when she went down to Agatha's little lair, and you can see all of the runes and stuff, and Wanda looks around like she has no idea what's happening, and she can't even use her powers properly. She knows how to do some things, like telekinetic powers, and she was a mutant. She was born with powers, as you could see in one of the flashbacks where the bomb was there and it didn't go off, and apparently it was a probability hex, or at least I guess it said. But I just really think that Scarlet Witch could be the most powerful MCU character, and I don't know about current though. What about you, Robert? What's your opinion on this?
Okay, excuse me. So here's my take on who's the most powerful. I think it's either Thor or Captain Marvel. So let me explain.
Captain Marvel.
So I think, so Thor, like what you said, Eli, earlier, he's a literal god, so basically in Infinity War, I agree with what you said, Holden. Wanda is pretty powerful. She held Thanos with one hand, and Vision taking off the Mind Stone with the other, and that is pretty impressive, not gonna lie. But Thor if only he just aimed for the head, he could have literally killed Thanos, which is like one of the most powerful Marvel characters in like in the entire universe. Because so in the comics, I know this is the MCU, but in the comics, I just want to portray how powerful Thanos is. He literally killed almost every Marvel character and made Hulk his pet dog. Okay, that's how powerful he is. And in the MCU, he's this in the comics are almost everyone is way more powerful, but in the MCU, he's still really powerful. He managed to get all 6 stones, and that's very difficult to do. He's just insanely powerful. He still managed to, beat Wanda. Not really beat Wanda. He used a time stone, he used a time stone to reverse time to where where Wanda wasn't taking the Mind Stone off, right? And then when she found out about it, I think Thanos, he just beat the crap out of her, and then Thor came along, and then he stabbed him he just straight up stabbed Thanos in the chest. Stormbreaker brought him to his knees. Thanos could barely even speak for like a second, and then Thor was just filled with rage and anger because he was really sad too, because technically Infinity War takes place right after the events of Thor Ragnarok, right? So in Thor Ragnarok, we saw the post-credit scene where they were on the ship, right? Or they were on the thing with Asgard, right? Or what, according to Odin, Asgard is the people, not the place, right? So basically, in Thor Ragnarok, Thor loses his hammer, loses his dad, loses his eye, and then also in Infinity War, he loses his brother. This time it's for real. Loki is not pulling off any more tricks, right? Well, that in another timeline he is from the Avengers 2012 timeline, but yeah, this time Loki was permanently dead. So Thor lost a lot of stuff, right? Especially he also lost Asgard. He lost Heimdall too. And he wanted to take back revenge on Thanos, right? So if you can really fuel up Thor like that, he'll become a beast, dude. He'll become a monster. He is insanely powerful. And then also in Endgame too. I think that the Russo brothers nerfed him on purpose. What I mean by that is they made him, spoilers if you haven't watched Endgame, Thor became fat, all of that after, he killed Thanos this time. He went for the head, and then 5 years passed, and it's 2023, and then, he's in New Asgard, right? And, yeah, so he's not as powerful as he was, right? So, yeah, and also in the final battle, and, where Thanos versus so in, the final battle of Endgame, Thor, if you were to put Infinity War Thor into that battle, he would have destroyed Thanos. But, yeah, they just nerfed him up, though. In Endgame, though, to be honest, he was really whiny and all that, right? He was, in the time travel scene, right? He was like a complete new Thor, right? He wasn't the Thor we knew from Infinity War. He wasn't the Thor we knew from Ragnarok, right? He was a completely new Thor in almost all of Endgame, right? So I think they really nerfed him up as well. So yeah, Thor, insanely powerful. In the comics, he literally beat Hulk in almost every battle they had, if it's tied then. So he can beat Hulk, and Hulk is insanely powerful. Well, not in the MCU, but still, he is insanely powerful both in the comics and in the MCU, and he's just a beast, man. He can, if you piss him off or something, kill his brother, he's coming for you, man. He's just insane, and also
that second reason for him being mad is very specific.
And also and also Captain Marvel too. Captain Marvel, I'm pretty sure, she in the movie, I remember there's like I said, there's an explode. Usually every superhero origin, it's usually an accident, right? So in Captain Marvel, it was I think she had the power of an Infinity Stone or something. There's something involved with that. And Captain Marvel, well, pretty much almost every Hollywood film, she's an insanely powerful female character. And she is, I think, maybe she could be the most powerful, if not tied with Thor. But yeah, she also in Endgame, she sounded pretty confident, and she was like, "Oh yeah," before where Bruce asked Captain Marvel, "Oh yeah, how do we know this is gonna end differently than last time, right? Because last time Thanos won." And Captain Marvel was like, "Oh yeah, because before you didn't have me, right?" And the thing is that she deals with other stuff from like different planets, different stuff, right? And to her, this didn't really seem like much of a big deal, right? She doesn't. Thanos wasn't really, you know, most of her concerns. She's focused on other stuff, right? And in the final battle, too, she held off Thanos. She literally blew up his entire ship, and she killed like almost maybe half, or maybe less, of Thanos's Outrider army, or not Outrider, and Chitauri as well, I think. But yeah, her and Thor, insanely powerful. Don't want to mess with them. Wanda, I also do agree with you. Wanda is pretty powerful, but Thor and Captain Marvel, I think, like Captain Marvel, she's like the Goku in the MCU, right? And yeah, she could her and Thor, I think Wanda won't stand a chance against both of them. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
With the Captain Marvel thing, I do agree that she definitely is powerful, but I do not think that she is on the level of Thor. One of the things, in that scene where she was holding Thanos back, I remember the scene. I think she got one tapped. Just immediately punch in the face. I think Thanos was actually holding the Power Stone, like in his hand. Punch Captain Marvel, and she was out for the count. She was gone.
I mean, she was holding the gauntlet. I think she was like taking it out of his, or trying to rip it off, and it was actually a very cool scene. He took the Power Stone out of the gauntlet, like literally removed it, which takes insane strength already, and then proceeds to jab her once in the face.
And then she's gone.
And then she's just gone.
Yeah.
And it's almost like cartoon physics, because he like punches her and then immediately gets it back.
One character that we haven't discussed yet is Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
he is also insanely powerful.
I'd say he's one of the most, but not the most.
No, I mean, I think he's up there. I think, like, in my rank, it goes like Wanda, Thor, and Captain Marvel are all equals, and
Doctor Strange is fourth.
Doctor Strange is like right there, like right behind him. Because if you think about it, he with the Time Stone had the ability to make himself immortal. You understand that? He could do the exact same thing over and over. He could die over and over and over and over and still not be dead, you know? Like, in the end of his movie, he makes a time loop, right? And infinitely asks the same question. Which, I mean, after a while, if someone's begging you over and over for the same thing, eventually you're going to fold. He has the ability to do that. Not to mention his portals. He could just make portals. For, like, anywhere, too. And if that's not OP enough, we saw him make portals literally like, I don't even know what realm that is. To the Soul Realm. And he brings back everyone that was gone before. Like, if that's not insane, then what is?
Yeah, and he was the only one who knew how everything was going to end. And, like, everything that he did on purpose. Like, he lost against Thanos on purpose. I feel like if he did some things different, like the immortality thing, I think that he would have known that Thanos would still have eventually gotten the Time Stone. So, or might
Yeah,
have been
exactly.
Untitled Chapter. With that, so I do think Doctor Strange is definitely up there for more powerful.
I think. Well, I don't think Doctor Strange is the most powerful. I do think that he is insanely powerful, and is very much so up there. And I mean, if he had the ability, I think that he would have been, or would have been a better leader for the Avengers, like a better, unpopular opinion. But I think that if he was leader of the Avengers, that there would be some way better outcomes to some things they did. Like morally, there would be some better outcomes. I mean, because of the whole thing where they were on like Shield's kind of like radar, because they had been damaging City. And I mean, Age of Ultron, holy the damage that they caused, even if it wasn't directly them, just the damage that the Avengers caused in general was absolutely insane. And even if it wasn't them directly, even if it was their battle, it was still their fault. And I mean, with Doctor Strange there, I think that he could have been like, he could have, even when Iron Man had to go up into space to get rid of the bomb. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Doctor Strange could have been like, bloop, like, where to go? Oh wait, yeah, I just put it. I just put it in Thanos' ship. Exactly. Like, how much easier would that have been? Besides Tony having some hero arc. And I mean, additionally, Doctor Strange could have used the time stone to evaluate situations way better than I think that Tony or Cap could have. And I think that that would have caused a way less casualties, and just a way better outcome in general. Like Black Widow's death is could have been easily predicted, and instead sent something like that. Like, oh, also off topic, Black Widow's death. Black Widow shouldn't have died.
Why do you think that?
I think that Hawkeye, just because he is just kind of lame. Like, the only important thing he's done is like turn against the Avengers in that one part in one of the first. I think it was either the first Avengers movie, or
He really hasn't done anything.
like he's just kind of lame, man. And even in the Endgame, he basically literally just takes the gauntlet and hands it to the enemy. It's like, here you go. Like,
oh yeah, I know
does
you.
nothing. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, you know, I know you. Like, he literally does nothing except give up stuff. I mean, he has like kids at one point, but that's it. I mean, Robert, how do you feel about Doctor Strange being one of the most powerful?
Well, also, can I talk about the whole Hawkeye thing? Are you
Yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah, of course.
So in Civil War, what I found pretty funny is that he was fighting Black Panther, and he's like, "We haven't met, by the way. I'm Clint." And Black Panther's like, I don't care." It's pretty funny.
I do find that really,
And
really,
then,
really
and then I
funny,
remember
because
in
literally no one
Endgame.
cares about.
In Endgame, flash forward to Endgame, right? He's like fighting everybody. He has the gauntlet, and Black Panther is like, "Clint, give it to me." And then my head is Hawkeye's just like, "You remembered my name."
Yeah, I definitely think that is probably what happened instead, because that guy is just, he acts like a child.
No,
Like, being honest, he's like, oh yeah, you, I know you. Here, take the thing that
And
literally
plus,
can kill us all
he
in a
got
second.
he got his butt kicked by Black Widow in the 2012 Avengers. Remember, he was controlled by
True.
Loki, and still, I mean, he's really good at aiming and shooting arrows. Don't get me wrong, but still,
That's about it.
yeah. Compare him to like a literal god. Compare him to freaking skilled assassin. Compare him to a genius who's rich and he's really good at designing, robotic suits and all. And just he doesn't really compare him to like the rest of the Avengers. He doesn't really fit, right?
Yeah. I don't know why he's there.
Yeah, I mean,
God, this just turned into
he
a
would
like
sound like
dissing Hawkeye.
he sounds like a cool background character, but I mean, I don't see him in the Avengers really. I don't know. I mean, he's getting his own show, I think, later on this year, so it better be something. But I think it's gonna be revolving around Kate Bishop, his daughter. It's gonna be the new Hawkeye. So yeah, I think he's like the Sakura in the Marvel universe. Useless.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, enough of dissing Hawkeye. I feel bad for him now.
I mean, the Hawkeye slander needs to stop.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it out there that when I was really little, I thought Hawkeye was just hot guy. We're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought he was Hawk Guy.
Hawkeye, yeah.
I thought he was just hot guy. I thought people were calling him hot, and I was like, bruh. Well, that's a really great child superhero, man. Like, no, children all look up to hot guy. Like,
and no offense, name one person who says that Hawkeye is their favorite Avenger. Like, okay, enough of dissing Hawkeye. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, Hawkeye slander. No Hawkeye slander. No Hawkeye.
Back to Doctor Strange. And
anyway, yeah. Doctor Strange. He's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
My question is who would win in a fight, Doctor Strange or Wanda?
Definitely Wanda.
I don't know.
Well, the thing that Doctor Strange has is he has the ability to predict what will happen. Like, he could be like, this is how I imagine it would be like sitting there meditating with his head going, and Wanda would just be like, what are you doing? And then just pick him up and like throw him into the wall. Like, that sounds like something that she'd do. But Doctor Strange would also probably throw up a portal and just go blip right back through the floor and keep meditating.
Well, here's my take on Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange, don't get me wrong, he's pretty powerful, right? He could technically be the richest character in the Marvel universe, not including Black Panther, right? Because he's the richest, way more richer than Tony Stark. Because Doctor Strange, he can control time. He can literally freaking do place bets on sports and stuff, like sports events and stuff, right? The possibilities are endless for him, right?
I really don't think he would do that, though.
Yeah, but he could.
Yeah,
but
seriously, he's not that kind of person. Like, he had this whole monk arc.
Win horse races.
Like, his whole purpose is to protect reality, right? So he's not just gonna, just become the richest person in the world, right? He's not gonna. He has other stuff to do, right? So he basically, Doctor Strange, yeah. So the whole thing you said about him fighting Wanda, and he can just turn back time like what he did with Dormammu, right? In the movie. So basically, there's this theory in WandaVision. Many people believe this. I don't. That the bunny that Agatha has is Doctor Strange. I disagree with that. And people have been given somewhat reasonable evidence.
That's a legitimate theory. I don't know why he would be the bunny. Why would he be the bunny?
People think that it's because he wanted...
Okay, listen. Why? What would Doctor Strange be doing as a bunny?
Okay, so here's what I heard.
In the newest episode, he's just eating crickets.
Here's what I heard in the news. Here's what
bird.
Okay, here's what I heard about the theory.
I meant bird. I know it was originally a bug, but
yeah. But he'd
just be eating birds.
Okay. Here's my problem with that theory. The fact that Agatha is some random witch who just appeared in Westview, and then Wanda put
she's not really some random witch. She's really powerful.
No, she was there. No, she literally is just a random witch that has.
Well, compared to Wanda, she's a random witch because Wanda is insanely powerful.
And she literally just randomly settled down in Westview, and then Wanda just shows up at the place where Vision and her were gonna make their home forever, like their permanent home, and she puts a spell on it, and then literally Agatha's like, I am now powerful. Wanda, give me your magic. Why would Doctor Strange be her bunny?
Okay, so here's what I heard about the theory. So basically, Doctor Strange, like I said, he's supposed to protect reality, right? So, with the whole Wanda taking a town hostage situation happening, right? it was involved like this movie sets up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It sets up Spider-Man No Way Home. This is all tied to the multiverse, right, with realities and stuff, right? So Doctor Strange in the beginning, before most of this happened, he could be involved with some stuff with Agatha, right? And like Agatha, like she could have been involved with the whole multiverse thing, yeah. And Doctor Strange wanted to so basically Agatha was very powerful, and Doctor Strange, in the process of trying to help out, the whole um Westview problem with what Wanda did, Agatha, well, this is what I heard, I don't agree with this. She is so powerful that she turned Doctor Strange into a bunny or a rabbit. Sorry, okay, and then Wanda is her next target because Wanda is really powerful. Doctor Strange is not as powerful as Wanda, in my opinion, and Doctor Strange, it's almost as if he's like signaling for help, which I think is pretty stupid because Doctor Strange can't be taken down that easily, right? But why I think Wanda is more powerful than Doctor Strange, not because of that theory, is because of Wanda can lose control and become an absolute monster, right? She can take a whole town hostage, right? And yeah, sure, Doctor Strange can rewind time and all that, right? That can just drive Wanda even more insane and do some crap that Strange doesn't want to see. That'll cause chaos.
So you're essentially saying that he's the bunny. He is taking the form of Agatha's bunny.
Well,
so
no, that's not what I
reality
think.
doesn't go
just saying.
insane. Well, you're saying that the theory is saying that he is in the form of the bunny to protect reality and make sure that she doesn't
that's
go
what I heard
insane
from
sicko mode. Mobamba.
Soups, from this one dude on. No, yeah, and basically what it's saying is that if he's so powerful, right, then how could he get turned into a bunny? But Wanda isn't, right? But that's stupid. I don't agree with that theory. I was just bringing that up because I wanted to portray Wanda.
Well, okay, listen. I mean, from someone who is impartial to the theories, I think that their reasoning is the fact that he could have like himself like voluntarily became the bunny, like taken the bunnies like.
Well, Agatha would notice.
Form.
She's very powerful witch.
Yes, maybe, I don't know, but the fact that he could be trying to protect reality. Think about it. Really, really think about it. He's trying to protect reality in general. So if he sees this huge anomaly thing, or senses that in the near future there's going to be a huge issue here, and he sees this woman living with a rabbit, what if he's all like, skedaddle, skedoodle, I'm going to become your bunny? And
why hasn't
hasn't
the bunny turned into Doctor Strange yet?
Well, I mean, I think that's why the alleged Luke Skywalker level cameo is coming up in episode 9. It could be. I think that's what theorists are saying with the bunny theory. Yeah. People are also saying the bunny could be like Mephisto, or the bird could be.
Could have been Mephisto. I thought it was Mephisto too, and I still don't think that it's not wrong. I think it has solid reasoning as to why the bunny could be Mephisto, or Mephisto could be the cameo or related to WandaVision. There is some solid reasoning and evidence for that. But I mean, we're kind of getting almost off topic here.
True, that's true. But I don't think that that Doctor Strange could beat Thor in the slightest. I don't think that in Wanda's current state she could not beat Thor. But I think that in future MCU, like if there's a movie that's called The Scarlet Witch, which I think would be a great movie, personally. I think that if they made a Scarlet Witch movie, that it would be absolutely wonderful. But I do think that that's not really going to happen. But if it did, I think that if she had some growth and in the future she became more powerful, I think that she could easily take down Thor or even Captain Marvel. Maybe not Captain Marvel. Marvel's more about brute strength, and Thor's more about brute strength. That's why they're so powerful, is because they're more about brute strength and
Yeah,
they're
Wanda,
just
like,
absolutely correct.
it's like she has
Wanda has
levels.
played psychological games, and like as well, she has so much power that she's not using. That's just, I mean, she's maintained her own reality TV show while maintaining a signal. Do you know that it took so long to figure out how to produce signals, like have wireless signals? She's producing, think about this, she's producing a constantly changing, like, radio wave, producing literal color, or I mean, physical color, not literal color, producing like color and like refracting light from thin air. She's doing all that just with her brain, and additionally, she's doing that like not she's not consciously doing that every few seconds. Like, that is happening without her trying to do it. That's her emotions controlling her powers. And just like you said with Thor, with enough emotion, with enough emotional drive, he can do anything really. That's the same with Wanda, and I feel like she, just because she wanted, she was sad that Vision was dead, and you could see her crying on that little like on the house where the house should have been, and that's when she got all emotional and just went and summoned an entire city and made it all black and white and literally altered the how things look and how things their appearance and even damaged technology. She didn't just alter how they looked, she altered the physical matter of the everything that entered the anomaly or the hex. And I also think that Diane, what was is it her name, Diane?
What do you mean?
The
Monica?
what's her name? The woman who discovered the frequency. That was working for Sword. That was in the little thing.
No. Darcy.
Darcy, yes, Darcy. She, like, even she was saying that it was a hex, which is kind of weird. Which I'm just saying is kind of weird because it literally is like magic, and I don't know how someone was just like, hex, yes, and
the whole hexagon theory.
Well, yes, they were calling it the hex because of it was in a hexagonal shape, but I think that had some foreshadowing meaning, which is pretty cool. But I definitely do think Scarlet Witch could become insanely powerful, and that she has very much so the most potential out of any of the Avengers. Like, Spider-Man has always been Spider-Man. Unpopular opinion, Spider-Man is not going to get more powerful.
Very powerful in the comics, not so powerful. I mean, he is powerful, but not as powerful as them. Or as Wanda.
He is powerful. He's powerful in the comics. I mean, he doesn't possess any magical ability, which makes him always going to be that friendly neighborhood.
I think in the comics he even beat Wanda, or he could.
Yeah, like in the comics. See, in the comics, when Cosmic Spider-Man enters, you already know you're dead because Cosmic Spider-Man has insane powers and can literally create realities with a snap.
When Deadpool killed the entire Marvel universe, he said that Spider-Man was, I think, one of the hardest superheroes to beat.
Exactly, because of his agility. Exactly. But I definitely think that Spider-Man in the movies and shows is just, regardless if he's like a kid or not, he's always been insanely powerful. And I think if there's more Spider-Man movies to come, they said that there's gonna be there could be like one more kind of thing after this that's gonna be Spider-Man. Or another Venom, and Spider-Man's gonna be in it. Well, that's just leaks, but no. But the new Spider-Man, the Spider-Man No Way Home, I think is gonna release even more power and ability that we haven't seen before from Peter, and some like really, really good acting, phenomenal acting from Tom Holland. But we already knew that he's a pretty good actor. Just in general, like, he very much so embodies the character, and I think the fact that he looks pretty young. He's 22, I think, but the fact that he looks very young, lets him portray the role of Spider-Man very, very well, and it makes a character that most people can relate to, regardless of if they're older, or if they're younger, being as though kids like middle school and elementary school still like kind of look up to high school is like like when you're in a teenager, and I think a lot of kids look up to people like that, and Spider-Man being this kind of icon now. Tom Holland is kind of just a normal high school student, but he's also Spider-Man, like that kind of thing. It's just very iconic, and I think will go down uh, very well. And I think that Spider-Man as a whole is a good character, but just isn't up there as one of the most powerful. But definitely one of the most well formatted on the MCU. But another one that I think is like an honorable mention would definitely be Iron Man, because let's just think about the facts here. He built an entity, the most powerful, fully vibranium entity. He's a genius, man. Or was a genius, actually. He's dead.
Yeah.
But he is a genius. And the fact that he just creates literal beings that are fully conscious with a fully operating mind, body, skin, cells, like the fact that he does that off of a whim is just crazy. And the fact that he anticipated his death and pre-recorded a death message to his daughter, that's even crazier. And the potential that his daughter holds as the son, or the daughter of a genius, and having his wife as a mother. I mean, Pepper Potts was pretty darn smart, if you ask me. Like, she's very, very smart. And, like, I think that Iron Man was just absolutely crazy. And I think that if he had more time in the MCU, I think that he could have done way cooler things. What about you, Eli? What do you think?
About Iron Man?
Yeah, just in general, about how what he could have done with his potential.
Well, I'm not sure 100%, but Iron Man is my favorite character in the MCU. I think that I think he's kind of like backs himself out with what he's done, and like he's got the nanotech, he's got something that he can put a suit on, just anywhere, anytime. He can make different things out of it, like just by thinking about it. So I think this is kind of like the final version of like the magnum opus of Iron Man.
Yeah. I mean, what he's done was already insane. And I mean, the fact that he literally created weapons that were the fact that he's able to withstand literal like lightning and take that power and channel it into just complete energy was crazy. And he adapted to taking the full energy of Thor and directing it into a tightly like formed beam that went directly to Thanos, and I think that was pretty insane. And I think that he is definitely one of the honorable mentions, and I think that he is that C rank, but below Doctor Strange. Like he's right there with Spider-Man. I think that he, even though he had no powers, was still absolutely insane and really, really, really nice MCU.
Yeah, what he's done is really impressive without any powers of any sort. Yeah. Well, there aren't many other strong MCU characters.
Well, Captain America, I mean, he was able to lift Mjolnir, but like that's a whole other story.
I think he's a bit like mid par.
Yeah.
I think he's just there as like a mascot.
Okay,
but
I have one.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Okay.
But
so
sorry,
I want to mention the Guardians of the Galaxy in this. So yeah, we won't include Drax because his only power is being invisible. But besides that, I think so. Here's my take on Star-Lord. Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was, I swear, he was so powerful. He literally defeated his father, who was a planet, my guy, right? And then he's just, yeah, like I said, Thor fueled him up was like the stuff he's been going through, right? Star-Lord fueled him up. He was going through lots of stuff as well, right? But in Infinity War, he was so useless. They just nerfed him. He was just not as powerful.
Yeah. They
did him wrong.
He was just a literal god.
They did him dirty. Yeah. But Star-Lord, he's not as powerful as Wanda, obviously, but he has some potential.
I'd say that he goes in that rank with Spider-Man and Iron.
Slightly bit more.
I do think that they should have made something where he, maybe Anakin in Heaven, where he could have kept a bit of the power that he was given. I don't know. I think that could have been a cool gimmick or something.
And in the comics, he did end up keeping some of that power. But I think what really puts him above the rest is his iron will. I mean, you saw him literally have a dance battle with one of the most powerful characters.
Exactly.
Just so that the outcome he would win. Like, you literally just see him start dancing in the middle of nowhere. I swear, everyone in that scene was so confused. And I mean, his character is just so funny, and I really do think that
I love Star-Lord. He's really funny.
That Chris Pratt plays him so well.
Yeah.
I really think that character has so much potential as a comedic character in the MCU and a powerful character in the MCU.
Yeah, I think Chris Pratt.
And I think he is just pretty good overall.
Yeah, I think Chris Pratt is a great actor in my opinion. I think he is. Yeah. And no, but yeah, Star-Lord. Yeah, I think he would slightly go above the Iron Man, Spider-Man tier, but yeah, he won't stand against Wanda, but he's kind of almost in between. Right? Not as powerful as Doctor Strange, but he's getting there, right? He's in there. But yeah, Star-Lord's pretty powerful. Who else? So yeah, Hulk definitely not. He was pretty powerful back then, not Professor Hulk though.
No, okay. Professor Hulk. Let's talk about Professor Hulk really fast.
I mean, he was able to handle the Infinity Stones without dying.
Yeah.
I think Professor Hulk is so darn cool. Because if you think about it, he's this uncontrollable gamma beast turned into a very controllable, almost pushed down and harnessed power. It's almost like, if any Naruto fans are out there, it's like harnessing a tailed beast. If that makes any sense, he basically suppressed everything, all of this negative. Like when he got mad, he would just turn into this uncontrollable beast that would rampage almost no matter what. And had no conscience, to this super smart genius of a powerful beast. And I think that the Incredible Hulk, as a is pretty wild. And I think that he could have accomplished way greater things if they gave him a little bit more power as Professor Hulk. And I know that he still got he was half as big as Professor Hulk. In comparison to the other Avengers, when he was the Hulk, he was way bigger and taller than everyone. And I definitely think that one of my favorite appearances with Hulk is in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved him in Thor Ragnarok. He was just so funny. And the fact that he still had most of his conscience, but still had that warrior and that kind of aspect. I wish that they just threw glasses on that guy and called him Professor Hulk, because honestly that would have been way better. One of my favorite scenes is him and Thor fighting, and it's hey buddy, you remember me, and then he dies. I thought that was really cool, but I do think Professor Hulk is one of those honorable mentions. He's pretty powerful and he's pretty smart, so overall it's like Iron Man, but better and almost less better in a way as well. It's like a genius it's like a science genius cross with rampaging beast. you get Professor Hulk, and I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, and I think he goes in that C rank as well
But I think
with Iron Man, Peter, and Peter Quill.
I think though, not in the 2012 Avengers Hulk, but the one from the Incredible Hulk, from 2008. I think he was way more powerful in that movie than in the Avengers. To be honest, I mean, I don't know. He was pretty
Yeah, I
powerful.
mean, I agree. In the Avengers, he just kind of threw motorcycles around.
Yeah.
They try to render him useless. They can draw attention to him in the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
But in the Incredible Hulk, that movie was so bad. I don't know why they tried to use it as a money. Like, it's one of those movies that if it didn't exist in the MCU, it wouldn't be the same. But I honestly watched it once and don't want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention that I think is really, really cool for having no powers is Black Widow. And I think that with her backstory and all, and her up and coming movie, she's gonna be a really, really cool character and great addition to the movie list. I mean, it's almost like she has cat-like agility, with the fact that she literally can take down like a fleet of Russian soldiers by herself with just her fists. I mean, and her legs too. Those are kind of useful. I mean, there's a scene, I don't remember what movie it's from, where she is like being interrogated in a chair, and she just stands up out of the chair, like breaks the chair, and uses the chair legs to absolutely obliterate people with her hands tied behind her back. Like,
that was in Avengers 2012.
Yeah, and the fact that she lost, she ended up falling off that cliff. I'm so annoyed.
They could have done a bit more with her though.
Yeah, and I mean that scene wasn't even really hard right on her head. Her head would not be there. To be honest, there would be like a dent in the back, but they just show her kind of like plopping on the ground with her full face of makeup. It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think that there are a lot of powerful Avengers, powerful MCU, and we've only talked about heroes. So I want to talk about villains.
Yeah. Well,
on our scale,
I feel like the obvious was just Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos, obviously.
I think Thanos is definitely one of those A tier characters who is insanely powerful and was only taken down by the rest of our A tier characters. Like, the reason that he died is because all of our A tier characters came together and went bada bing bada boom and killed them.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that he's an A tier villain. Like, I don't know about you guys, but he would go in that A tier of power.
Can I mention like two things right now related to
Go
this?
ahead.
One, I want to mention one more thing about Wanda why I think that she's not, why I think that Thanos was weak to her. So in Infinity War, he had like five out of the 6 stones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wanda, she was able to hold him off and all that, right? But I think that the more stones he had, the weaker it made him. It's this theory, and it's really interesting. So, because the stones, they drain out a lot of energy. You need to have a lot of strength to or even possess all 6 of the stones in like just one like gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
So they'll probably drain out so much energy out of him, like compared him to beating the crap out of Hulk, right? But then in the battle on Titan, right? Like he looked a bit weaker, right? He was a bit more drained out, right? I mean, he was fighting a bunch of heroes and all of that, right? But like still, I mean, he still managed to hold them off. And then in Wakanda, right? Like he looked tired. Like he just won. He just held up the gauntlet, and then all of a sudden people went bada bing bada boom, right? But on Titan, he was just a beast, right? So I think the stones, like I said, because also I think he was using the Power Stone, but that also made him slightly weaker. Because yeah, like I said, the more stones, because even Hulk, he snapped and it almost like killed him, right? Iron Man, it did kill him when he snapped. Thanos snapped, but he still survived. And just even holding the stones for a long time itself drains out a lot of energy. Like even Hulk, he was almost out of he couldn't even continue, right? Like Cap asked him, hey, do you think you could do it or stuff, right? Thanos, he used all those stones for a while, right? It definitely made him weaker, in my opinion. I think, yeah. So if Thanos didn't have any stones and he fought Wanda, I think he would stand a chance, maybe.
No, I think he'd lose. The only reason that he survived against the fact that is the fact that he was using one hand, and the fact that he had all the stones is the only reason that he was able to obtain the last stone, or him using most of the stones, all 5 that he had at the moment. And I think that Thanos with no stones would immediately die. Like, he had no chance. But if we think about it, he has insane endurance, because when we saw him use the Tesseract, or I think it's the Soul Stone, right? No, is it? What stone is it? It is the Space Stone.
Tesseract?
Yeah,
Yes,
Tesseract's
the
Space
Space
Stone.
It's Space Stone.
He took it out of Loki's staff and just went, and he just moaned a little, and then it was fine. Like,
no, the one in Loki's staff was the Mind Stone, and the one in the Tesseract was the Space Stone, right?
Yeah. Well, the Mind Stone was in Vision, though. So
Mind Stone was Vision. Space Stone was Loki.
Oh, wait. Space Stone was Tesseract.
Space Stone was in the Tesseract, and the Tesseract, Loki had the Tesseract because Loki took the Tesseract in the other one. The Soul Stone was obtained by,
Wait, which one was in the staff?
Space Stone, because Mind Stone was Doctor Strange, Reality Stone was in nowhere. The dumb. Power Stone, what was the Power Stone?
Power Stone was like in the orb with the Collector.
Oh yeah, the Power Stone was the Guardian. The Mind Stone was in what's his name? Vision. And the Soul Stone was with Red Skull.
Yeah.
Oh wait. So was the thing that was in Loki's staff
the Space Stone?
No, not staff.
Was that originally in the Tesseract? Or?
Yes.
No, the Mind Stone was in the staff.
I'm dumb brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So,
I got a little confused because in the latest WandaVision episode, the stone outside of the like the shell outside of the stone in the newest WandaVision episode was like orangish yellow, and that just made me confused. But
anyway, when he just literally put it in his gauntlet and moaned a little and was like, brushed off his shoulder and went, okay, next. Like, the absolute pain that would have like put him under is just insane, and I have to congratulate him on not taking almost any damage while getting insane power.
Imagine us in real life just even putting on one stone. We'd collapse just like that.
And die. No, you die for sure.
Exactly.
Because the only reason that Tony didn't die obtaining all 4 stones, when he was just wielding them, is purely the fact that his suit was still like on the. He was still, how he made it so that he could absorb Thor's power.
Mm-hmm.
I think he it was still using that kind of technology and absorbing the stone's power in a sense, and then fully just it's like a breaking the dam. Like, he just let it all in at the end and snapped with full power, knowing that it would kill him. And I think that he made it, very, 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 like, a sacrifice that was very, very
dangerous.
But, yeah, I think that the sacrifice was needed, but it should have been. I think that anybody else, like even Thor, no offense, guys, because I know you both are fanboys over Thor.
No.
But, but Iron Man should not have died. I mean, he's been there for a while. I mean, he was the first MCU movie ever.
I always wish that he didn't.
Yeah, if he didn't die, I feel like the MCU would have been slightly better. But that's my opinion. Also, by the way, guys, we just hit an hour.
54 minutes, actually.
What?
54
50
minutes, almost 55.
Oh yeah, we started.
And also,
okay.
second thing that I wanted to say. First one was about the whole stones draining Thanos' energy. This is the second thing I want to say. So, about the whole villain list we were doing, I think, okay, I keep on mentioning this, but I'm going to say it again. In the comics, Thanos beat, sorry, excuse me for my language, beat the shit out of Galactus, okay?
That's true, and I that is insane. Like,
Yeah.
that oh my god, Thanos was insane in the comics. Like, he literally he walked up to death herself, looked her in the eyes, and said, "Alright, thanks."
So
Literally,
if they're gonna
in the comics, Death gave him the gauntlet, and gave him the task of wiping out 50% of the universe. Like, that was Thanos's like entire job. Why he was Thanos the Titan is he was sent to collect the Infinity Stones by Death herself, because she wanted more souls, and he gets all sent to like take all of like 50% of the entire universe. So I think that he's insanely powerful.
Yeah.
He really destroys Galactus, just obliterates him, and then continues to wipe out all of the Avengers and overall wins in one of the reality. And I think that is absolutely crazy. I think he's just good. He's just too
So, if they ever introduce Galactus, I know, like, you know, the whole MCU versus comics thing, like, oh yeah, some people are more powerful than others, right? But I think eventually they will introduce Galactus into the MCU, right? If they ever will, they might make him more powerful than Thanos, but Thanos, you know, he could beat the crap out of Galactus. So I think Thanos will always remain number one in being a villain. I think he's the coolest villain. I think he has somewhat good intentions, not really. I understand in, like, the crap he went through, you know, like in the comics, like what his life was like, right? I think he's a pretty cool villain. He's insanely powerful. He literally, like, could kill any character in the Marvel Universe, right? Like I said earlier in this podcast, he made Hulk his pet dog, and Hulk in the comics is a literal monster, right? So if you can do that, then you're insane, right? You're like god level, right? Thanos is just
I mean,
beyond
Hulk in the comics is
even at his full form. Thanos beat him.
Yeah, I mean, and Hulk in the comics is absolutely insane.
Exactly.
So for Thanos to just be like, "You're my bitch,"
Thanos is crazy. Justin, and he's Thanos is crap. Thanos, you know what? Thanos came up to me, told me to give him a stone. I'm sorry, I'm giving him that stone. I don't want to mess with Thanos, my guy. I'm not messing with Thanos. But yeah, Thanos is
he's pretty crazy. Sorry, I wasn't talking. I was messing with my mic.
He's something else.
I think we've discussed most of the actual strong heroes in the MCU. Well,
I know. I wanted to mention one last.
Yes.
And I think this can. But talking about how they put plot armor on certain characters that very well should have died, and didn't. Like, there are very there are a lot of characters that should have died in the MCU, or well, by going by
Quicksilver.
Like logic. Yeah.
Quicksilver just had anti-plot armor.
Literally, he was there for like 2 minutes. He got like a minute of screen time.
Hey, Hawkeye's
That's
shield.
not even a joke. And then he just died. He just got shot like 17 times in the chest, and his sister was like, depression arc. Like, I really don't understand why they did Quicksilver like that. He could have been such a cool character in the MCU.
Not as fast as the Flash, though.
They killed him because he was too powerful.
That's very true. Like, I mean, in that X-Men love and cherish so much, where he just goes like, "Oh, it's blowing up. Let me save everybody."
Oh yeah, that was like the sweet dream scene. That was so badass.
Oh,
my
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
That was sick. That
I
was
love
so
that scene
cool.
so.
Yeah, and also the
Like,
time
you
in a
can't tell
bottle
me
one, and like the kitchen scene.
Oh yeah, that one's also.
Yeah,
I love the scenes where he just like it shows you just slow motion of him doing everything,
yeah,
and,
that
like,
that's
eating the video
so
game.
sick, dude.
and then eating a Twinkie and guitar,
To
sleeping.
be, to
He
be,
literally sleeps in slow motion.
yeah, to be honest, anything in slow motion looks cool.
Very true, very true. But I think that
Your mic is
keeping
cutting
things
out.
that don't need to be slow motion, it is.
Yeah.
It keeps everything that doesn't need to be.
Yeah, cut out again.
It keeps everything that doesn't need to be slow motion not slow motion, and things that should be slow motion slow motion.
Yeah.
It's a very good job of deciding when things
Yeah,
should be slow
X-Men
motion.
Apocalypse was a good movie, in my opinion. It was amazing. So, yeah. Should we end it there?
Yeah.
We've been talking for an hour and 1 minute. So.
I think this is a good place to end it.
Yep. So.
I do as well.
Mhm.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah,
This is a very
and
fun episode to
make
film.
sure
It was
if
very
you want to
fun.
ever, talk with us, make some theories, then go check out the Discord. Link is in the description. And thanks for joining with me, Eli and Holden. And we'll see you next time.
Be here.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we'll see you next time on Nerd Talk.
yeah,
Yeah.
stay
Have a good night.
tuned for more content, everyone. Bye.